It's June 1st, 2021. Sun coming up over the garden. Let's take a walkabout. My in-laws' canna lilies are getting ready to bloom. I'm so anxious for that because that'll bring the hummingbirds back. I haven't seen a hummingbird yet this year. Strawberry patch is kind of petered out right now, but we've got some new blooms coming on. Well, these are ever-bearing strawberries. This is probably a gourd plant. I'm going to let it go. I'm also excited because this hollyhock is going to bloom. A year in the waiting. The potato bed is looking much better than I expected. These potatoes that were grown from seed are producing. The weeds in this strawberry bed are starting to get ahead of me. The problem I'm finding, we have had very, very little rain. And when I pull up a weed, it usually entangles the roots of the strawberries and brings them up too. The tomatoes. For the last 2 years, I've had a problem with this leaf curl. I took the plant to several different nurseries and everyone concluded that it was a virus. So with all but these two plants, I pulled them up and replaced them, and no problems. I've got Celebrity in here, Aroma, Big Boys, and a better bush. And so far, everything's looking good. This is the volunteer sunflower in the middle of the path. I staked it up so I wouldn't knock it over when I walked by. I read a book in the 90s called A Well-Placed Weed. And I'm going to call this a well-placed flower. The zucchini I planted earlier this year. Just going to start blooming next soon. This is a crookneck squash. This lettuce is called Red Fire. This is actually the cherry tomato plant that was in the white walls of water. And it is doing really well. In fact, it's surpassed the one that was in the red one. This is another cherry tomato here in my father-in-law's windmill. These cucumbers here are bush cucumbers, and they are really bush. They are not growing very big at all. As you can see, I've mulched this year with pine straw. It's a product here in the south. I'm not sure how far north it goes. My soil showed that it was just slightly acidic, and most garden plants want acidic soil, so pine straw will add acid to the soil as it breaks down. The black raspberries are looking great. I never planted any black raspberries. I always planted red ones, but I suspect the graft broke and the base root were the black raspberries, and that's what's coming on. These two I bought last fall and they're doing well. These are red raspberries. Here in my sunken bathtub, the lotus plants are looking great. I've never had a leaf as large as this one. Here are some sunflowers that I've got sitting on this rock where they can get some water. I'm going to be transplanting those soon, but I'm kind of waiting for some rain. We're supposed to have a spell of rain here at the end of the week. No blooms yet on this pepper. It's a Celebrity tomato. Another crookneck squash. A couple of those, big blooms on those. In fact, got some squash ready to pick. This lettuce is going to bolt. It was stuff I planted really early between the onions. And in fact, it pushed the onions kind of out of the way. And the onions that are here are not really bulbing out like they should. Over here where they had more space, they're bulbing out nicely. So this experiment, I don't really think panned out. I probably won't do this again next year. You see the holes here between the carrots. We've been eating those. Another Celebrity tomato and another yellow crookneck squash. And these are the potatoes I mentioned earlier in the ground here. And this is a very sorry looking pepper. I don't think it's getting enough sun. planted this kind of corn because on the label it said it was old-fashioned corn that wouldn't bend over in the rain. Well, the first rain we had in about 3 months, this bent right over. So I've put everything up and given it some support. This is where the snap peas were I harvested. And the other day I planted some corn. Burpee sweet corn is a variety called Early Sun Glow Hybrid. It's only 68 days, which means in 68 days, we'll be eating sweet corn. We put 1 row in today, using my multi-dibbler. Makes it quick and easy. Radish plants that are in amongst more carrots. This is the pepper I failed to cover during our last frost, and I think because of the frost it's split into several different heads, but I'm gonna let them go. It's got some blooms on it. Over here on the flower border, the roses have come and gone. The flowers are coming on nicely. This is that 4 o'clocks that will just overtake if I don't keep them weeded, or if I don't treat them as weeds. I really need to divide this lily. It's just overwhelming here. And in this box that once had potatoes, a volunteer tomato came up in this red clay, as well as some autumn sedum. And so I'm just letting that grow. In here, I thought were lotus plants, but evidently they have died out. There are a lot of little tadpoles in here. This is the hibiscus. I didn't think it was going to come back. It looks like something's eating on it, so I think I have some organic powder I can put on that. This is the container I hope to transplant the lilies into, and this is the cold frame that never got put away. Kind of sitting here. Right here is a clematis. I thought I killed when I was building my shed. This thing is about 12 or 15 years old. Here are some red morning glories and a cypress vine that I put in here. And of course the pond. I have really been enjoying my new shed here. I've got some stuff on the side here, kind of protected. I always misplace these things all the time. Always looking for something. Inside, I'm able to keep some water that if I need to water something that's dying. Got my hoe in here and my potato fork and my shovel and a hula hole and my multi-dibbler. This is the 3-tiered planter I just planted the other day. I probably should have cut those petunias back a little bit more, but they were half price at Lowe's and they're going to do well, and it's going to take a few weeks. More of the red morning glories. My okra did not come up, but I've got some in a 6-pack I planted up under the porch, and I'll be transplanting those as soon as we can get some rain. These are some new Dimension Blue Salvia I picked up at Lowe's, again, half price. Behind my gates here, I have yet to put up. I really need to redo these, but they take several hours to do. I haven't gotten around to that yet. The yarrow and the weeping cutleaf maple are looking great. Luck-eyed Susan here, and the echinacea I'm really concerned about. I don't think it's going to make it. The daylilies are getting out of hand. I really need to cut these. I really need to cut some of those out of there. They're really overwhelming the whole thing. Those petunias I also got at Lowe's. They were really puny when I put them up there. I'm hoping they will cover that area before the end of summer. This is some Perennial Sage and a volunteer strawberry plant that's really starting to put out some runners. Looking great. And these poor frostbitten Shasta daisies. I'm hoping I'll get a good fall crop from them. Lucerne blue-eyed grass. These are balloon flowers that haven't started blooming yet. They come back every year. And my Stelladora daylilies up there. Looks like Dodgers found a critter in the strawberries. Well, that's what the garden looks like today. I hope your garden is doing well, and I hope we get some rain. Thanks for watching.